Hello my dear students, welcome to the class of 11th English Medium. The subject is Statistics, Chapter 3, Measures of Central Tendency, brought to you by Vitan sir. In my last tutorial, which you can find at the top right corner of your screen, I discussed about how to calculate mode for a discrete data, for a continuous data, for a row data. Now, in this tutorial, I am going to explain with the empirical method of calculating mode. Let's see when we use the empirical method and how we use the empirical method. Illustration 35. The time between placing an order and its delivery was noted for a certain wholesaler as follows. We have to find the mode. Now, empirical method is not always mentioned in the question. It's rather we have to find it out from the given data. Now, let's take a look at the data here. The time is in the classes. Okay. Classes are 20, 25, 25, 30 up to 50 to 55, and as you can see all the classes have the equal class length. I have explained in one of my tutorials, you can find it at the top right corner of your screen, where which conditions are there to use the empirical method. Among them 5 conditions were there. The first one was if the class lengths are unequal, but as you can see here the class lengths are equal. Let's start with the frequency. The frequency is 2, 5, 7, 5, 6, 7, 3. The total is 35. Now whenever we are calculating mode, we need the highest frequency. Now look at the frequency row, which is the highest frequency. It's 7, but unfortunately 7 comes twice. That means 7 is in the class 30 to 35, as well as 7 belongs to the class 45 to 50. Now that was one of the rules of the empirical method, that when the maximum frequency belongs to more than one class, we have to use the empirical method. So because there are two maximum frequencies, we are going to use the empirical method. Empirical method uses mean and median to calculate mode. So we need to calculate mean and median here. Now just recall what I have taught you guys in this chapter till now. For mean and medians, because this is a continuous data, I need to create a mid value for each of the classes. Mid value is the average of the upper and lower boundary points. So 20 plus 25 divided by 2, and similarly I will get the mid values of each and every class. Next, because all the class lengths are equal, I am going to use the shortcut formula for calculating mean. Now the shortcut formula for calculating mean means I need to convert all my mid values into the D, that is the deviations. Now for converting that into D, I am taking the middlemost mid value, that is the 37.5, as the assumed mean A value. I hope you guys remember these things, else you just go through my previous tutorials for that. So x minus assumed value 37.5, and because the class lengths are equal in all the classes, that is 5, I am dividing the value with 5. So 22.5 minus 37.5 divided by 5 will be negative 3. Similarly negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2 and 3. I have actually explained this beforehand, that when the class lengths are equal, all the class lengths are equal, just take the assumed mean class as 0 in the deviation. All the classes before that will be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3 onwards, and after that will be 1, 2, 3 onwards. So you don't actually have to even calculate it for that purpose. Only if the class lengths are equal. If they are unequal, actually I don't suggest using the deviations at all. Just multiply frequency with the mid values and be done with it using the formula of fx. Next, I have to multiply frequency with the deviations. So my frequencies are 2, 5, 7, 5, so and so, and deviations are negative 3, negative 2 and so and so. So just multiply them, it would be negative 6, negative 10, negative 7, 0, 6, 14 and 9. The total will be 6, because there are some positive and negative values, the final answer will be 6. That is for mean. I also have to calculate median here, and for calculating median I need cumulative frequency. So that's just adding up all the frequencies. The first frequency is 2, then plus 5 will be 7, plus 7 will be 14, plus 5 19, plus 6 25, plus 7 32, plus 3 35. That's the total frequency. So now I have to start with calculating mean and median. First I am going to start with the mean, that is x bar is equal to a plus summation fi di upon summation fi into c. Now assumed is 37.5, fi di is 6, total frequency is 35 and the class length is 5. So just simplify this thing, okay, and that way you will get your answer 38.36. okay, so that's the time taken in hours for the difference between placing an order and getting its delivery. Maybe it's some online site which delivers in just about 2 days, Amazon or Flipkart, no idea. Next we have to start with the median, for which we need to calculate the median class. Now the method of median is n upon 2th observation. Total observations are 35, so 35 upon 2 will be 17.5th observation. Okay, so the 17.5th observation lies in the CF 19. So accordingly we will take our values. From CF we can see that 17.5th observation lies in the class 35 to 40. Now because we are calculating median, we are going to use its formula of L plus n upon 2 minus CF upon F into C. So for that I need to write down some values. For example, lower limit point is 35, the frequency of that class is 5, the cumulative frequency of the previous class is 14, and the class length is 5 for that particular class. So the formula here will be median is equal to L plus n upon 2 minus CF upon F into C. Just put the value 35 plus 17.5 minus 14 upon 5 into 5. And when you simplify it, you get 35 plus 3.5 upon 5 into 5. 5 will be cancelled. So 35 plus 3.5. That is 38.5 hours of the time difference between placing an order and getting it delivered. So we have the mean and the median. Next we have to calculate mode using the empirical method. Now mode is 3m minus 2x bar. That's the formula of empirical method. So m is 38.5, that is into 3, minus x bar is 38.36 into 2. When you simplify it, you get 115.5 minus 76.72, and that way the mode will be 38.78 hours. So the statement here is that thus the mode for the time between placing of an order and its delivery is 38.78 hours. So this is how you calculate a mode of empirical method. This question can be asked for 5 whole marks, so be ready for that. Moving on to illustration 36, the following table shows the number of visits to the dentist of the person having toothache. Find the mode for the number of visits. Depending on the data, we will decide our formula. Now number of visits and number of patients, that would be frequency. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so as you can see in the data here, first 3 values are discrete while the remaining 3 values are continuous in the number of visits. So we call this a mixed frequency distribution. What we call it? A mixed frequency distribution. And one of the rules of using the empirical method for calculating mode was that if mixed frequency distribution is given, use empirical method. So because this is a mixed one, we are going to use the empirical method. We need to calculate mean and median. But because this is a mixed frequency, I'm not going to use the shortcut method. I'm just going to find the mid values and then calculate fx and be done with it. But again, mid value is for calculating continuous data. So the discrete values will be written as they are. And then only for the classes I am going to find an average. So 4 plus 7, 11 upon 2, 5.5. 7 plus 10, 17 upon 2, 8.5. 10 plus 15, 25 upon 2, 12.5. And I'm just going to multiply that with the frequency. So it would be fx, that is 7, 22, 54, 49.5, 34 and 12.5. So the total will be 179. Because I also have to calculate median, I am going to use CF here. And CF is number of patients added up one by one. So 7 plus 11, 18 plus 18, 36 plus 9, 45 plus 4, 49 plus 1, 50. That's the total frequency. Let's start with calculating mean. Mean is x bar is equal to summation fi xi upon summation fi, because that's a simple straightforward method. That would be 179 upon 50. The answer is 3.58 visits. So the per patient, the average visits are 3.58. Next, we have to start with the median. Now, the value of n upon tooth observation. Now, if you are wondering that, okay, this is discrete and continuous both, so what to do, n plus 1 or n? Then my suggestion is, if it is a continuous data, just use n. If even if it's a mixed distribution, just use n. Don't go for n plus 1. Use n plus 1 only for raw data and pure discrete distribution. For mixed and continuous distribution, use n upon 2 observation. Okay, don't use n plus 1. So n is 50, that would be 50 upon 2th observation, giving us the 25th observation. Now the 25th observation lies in the CF 36, and in front of 36 you have the value 3. So that means the number of visits would be 3 according to the median. So the median visits are 3. Next, we have to calculate mode using the empirical method, which is MO is equal to 3m minus 2 x bar. The m is 3, x bar is 3.58. So when you simplify it, you get 9 minus 7.14, getting the answer 1.84 visits. So the mean visits are 3.58, the median visits are 3, and the modal visits are 1.84. Okay, so I hope you guys are getting how we are doing these empirical methods. Now I'm going to start with the exercise, and I'm going to solve the first 4 questions of the exercise 3.5. Exercise 3.5. Starting with the very first question, the IQ levels of students in a class are given as follows. We have to find the model value of IQ. Now the values are 146, 134, 143, 144, 138, 145, 153, 138, 138, 146, 140 and 135. Having a closer observation on these values, we can say that the value which has been repeated for the maximum number of times is 138. It has been repeated for 3 times to be exact. Therefore, the model value, the model level of the IQ of the students is 138. So the mode is 138. Moving on to the second question, because raw data are always so easy, it just takes a statement to solve the mode for that question. So mode, I love mode. It is very easy. The following table gives the number of cakes sold each day at a bakery. Find the mode for the numbers of cakes sold. Let's see, the table is number of cakes and the number of days. 10, 12, 13, 16, 17 and 18. Okay, this is a discrete data. Once again, it is very easy. I don't even have to think much. I just have to check the number which is maximum, and the value opposite to that number will be my mode. Now as you can see from the observation here, that the 25 is the highest frequency. Okay, the frequency which is highest is 25, and the value opposite to 25 is 13. Therefore the model number of cakes sold could be 13, and that means the mode value is 13. Okay, so that was the end of first 2 questions. Quite easy, right? Let's move on to the next one. Okay, question number 3 for the exercise 3.5. The distribution of ages of 48 persons of an old age home is given below. Which formula will be appropriate for calculating mode? That's a question. Second is why. Okay, we have to give the reason also. Find the model age using that formula. So whatever formula will feel is the correct one, we have to give the reason and then use that formula to calculate mode. Okay, let's look at the data to understand which formula we should use. The age in years and number of persons. Age is 50 to 60. 60 to 65, okay, the class length has changed. Then 65 to 70, 70 to 85, again the class length has changed. I think you guys get which formula we are going to use and why we are going to use that. But still I have written it down in a statement, because the class lengths of all the classes are not same. They are unequal. Unequal classes are there. we are going to use the empirical formula, and for empirical formula we need mean and median. Because we need mean and because the class lengths are unequal, I am just going to find the mid value and multiply it with the number of persons, that is the frequency here, and then I will just be using the cumulative frequency to calculate median. So mid value x and the fx. Now 50 to 60 is 55, 62.5, 67.5, 77.5, 92.5. Next I am multiplying these values with the number of persons, that would be my frequency. So 330, 625, 1282.5, 697.5 and 370, and the total of the fx is 3305 and the total number of persons are 48. Then I also have to create a row for the cumulative frequency, which is adding up all the frequencies one by one. 6 plus 10 16 plus 19 35 plus 9 44 plus 4 48. So that's the total frequency. Always compare the last CF with the total frequency to check whether our answers are correct or not. That way you can verify your answers properly. Next we have to start with calculating mean. Now because I am only using the simple formula of mean, it is not going to take that long. 3305 upon 48 is 68.85 years. So the mean years are 68.85 of the people living in the old age home. Next I have to start with the median class, which is class of n upon 2th observation, because this is a normal continuous distribution. N is 48, so 48 upon 2 observations will get us 24th observation. Now if you look at the CF, 24th observation is in the CF 35, which again falls under the class of 65 to 70. So based on that we are going to calculate median now. From CF, 24th observation lies in the class 65 to 70. So the lower limit 65, frequency 19, CF 16, and the class length of that particular class is 5. Median is L plus n upon 2 minus CF upon F into C. Putting the values in the equation, subtracting 24 minus 16 will get you 8, and then multiplying it with 5 dividing by 19 is 2.11. So your median years are 67.11 years. So putting the formula of mode for the empirical method, that is MO is equal to 3m minus 2x bar, m is 67.11 and x bar is 68.85. Multiply the respective values, you will get 201.33 minus 137.7, and your modal answer is 63.63 years. So if I am writing a statement here, the mode for the age of persons living in old age home is 63.63 years. So I think now you must be clear about how to calculate mode using the empirical method. It's easy but it's lengthy because you need both the measures median and mean to calculate mode, and this is a 5-mark question, so don't make a mistake here. Okay, moving on towards the last question of today's tutorial. Exercise consists of many questions, but I am only doing first 4 from the exercise. This will be the last question for today's tutorial. Comment on the mode. We don't have to find a mode, we just have to comment on it. For the following data showing time taken in seconds for 8 competitors in a running race. Now I think you just look at the data and see if any data has been repeated. As we can see from the data that all the values appear only once. 25.2 or 26.5, any value appears only once. There is no, the data has no repetitions of values, and so we can say that the frequency of all the values is 1, and thus there is not a single value which has been repeated for more number of times than any other value, because mode basically means the number which has been repeated for the maximum number of times, that means more than others, which is not possible in this scenario, and that means we cannot calculate mode using the definition. Definition was mode is the value which has been repeated for maximum number of time, but we cannot calculate it. Although we can calculate a mode using the empirical method given by Carl Pearson. Okay, so this is what I am commenting on this question. I don't actually have to find mode here, so of course I am not going to find it. Uh, Next time, I am going to start with the graphical method of calculating mode, because out of the whole chapter, there is only mode which we can actually calculate using the graph. So stay tuned for that. If you like how I teach, please give me your comments. It means a lot to me. If you have any suggestions, I am always ready to listen to them. Subscribe my channel if you have not, like this video if you have not, and share this with your friends who need these study materials in this time period of lockdown. Thank you very much for watching it, and keep on being with me. Thank you. Welcome students to Vitan Sir's Unacount Academy. That's better way to success for you. I am Vitan Vora and I teach accountancy, statistics and social science. You can contact me on my cell number 919426310184. Please give a sub to my channel and also check out my other video playlist which you can see on the screen. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.